Okay, I wanted to do a review on two holsters that I have here. One of them is the G-Code Incog Eclipse, and it is their designed one-clip holster where they've redone the Mojo riser and made it so it comes up from its original mounting point and over to the center line of the holster. And then we have the original Incog by G-Code here, and what it normally would come with is two clips, one here, and then this flap would be over here, and you'd have another clip on there, and you could also attach the mag carrier onto this one. What I did to it is I modified it before this even came out to make it into a single clip, and what I did was just kind of heated that material, folded that over, and then just made it into a smaller profile for a one clip. So what I want to go over is these two holsters and the differences between them, some positive and negatives, and basically tell you which one I like better and why. First of all, we'll just go over the basic design of the holster, and when I'm talking about the holster, just talking about the actual plastic portion of it, the injected mold plastic. And when we compare the two holsters, one of the first things I noticed was the tactical fuzz. The tactical fuzz on my older holster seems to be softer and maybe a little thicker, and on this one it seems to just be a little thinner, but at the same time it feels like maybe it's adhering a little better to the plastic. And I think maybe they had some problems with these earlier ones. I haven't had any problems with this one, but at the same time as purchasing this one, I bought the same holster for a Smith & Wesson Shield, and I did have some peeling problems where the glue was coming loose and it was peeling. So maybe they redesigned it and used a different material now, and perhaps it's going to stick on there a little better. It feels like it would. That's one of the first things I noticed. Other than that, you'll just see that the actual cut here, there's no flap cut out. It's just completely folded over, nice and smooth here. And then they just kind of taper it a little bit. And then on mine, you can see where there's that cut out there and that flap that came out, and I just folded that over. So that was the other difference. Other than that, I did notice that these are both half guards for the part that comes up here on the slide. That's called the guard, and this is these are half guards. But I did notice that in comparing them, that the half guard on the new one is a slight bit shorter than the half guard on the old one. So they're just kind of almost like they're just slimming down everything on this one just a little bit to try and make it lighter weight and just simpler and more concealable. So that's kind of just the base of the holsters there, the differences there. Now, other than the holster, the Mojo riser design here and the function of that. So what we have in the other one here is this one was really never designed to function as a one clip, but if you move it over there, you can actually use it as a one clip and get rid of the other one, and it actually works really well. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, just go over the clip design that is used on both of these. The clip is probably one of the best parts of this holster, and it's kind of the heart of the design and what makes this really special compared to a lot of other holsters. The clip and the tactical fuzz, I think, is probably the biggest difference between this and most of your in the waistband holsters. But one of the things you'll notice the clip is it cants forward quite a bit. But it does have spring tension to it. It's flexible because it's just a plastic clip, but it has a nice strong spring tension. And that spring tension is going to force the holster into your body, basically. It's going to force the upper part of the holster into your body. And what that's going to do is going to help conceal the firearm's grip and the profile of the firearm into your body. And the way it does that, or accomplishes that, is that it's pushing the top of the gun into you, which is going to cant the gun into you and help conceal it that way. And what's really neat about this is that because it's off-center, because this is actually, the clip is over here, when pressure is applied here, it also applies a cant to it. So not only are you pushing the grip into your body, but you're also twisting the grip into your body that way. So what it's going to do is really help conceal this handle by torquing that handle into your body and into it upward that way. So it's using two different things here, two different motions. The Mojo riser is even with the holster, so therefore when you put pressure there, it helps to twist that holster. So that's a really good design, and it works really well, even though this is not the way they intended to design it to be with one clip. But with one clip, they work excellent. So with the new one, what were they doing? They basically were trying to make it a little smaller and slimmer profile, and they come out with the Mojo riser with one clip, and it kind of goes in the center here. There are a few things that are wrong with this design that I don't like, and I feel like the old design is superior in that. And a couple of those things basically are, for one, the moving the clip over to the center line here, it's not helping anything. Basically, when you're sitting here with where the clip is right now, this is more the center line for the balance point, because you basically have this large handle out here on the side here that has lead weights in it. Your bullets are going to weigh a lot, and it's going to kind of want to pull down like that. So you want this over here a little more to help balance it. So moving it over towards the center more is not really helping anything, because now you have a fulcrum where the handle is going to weigh more, and that's not really going to help you out. Other than that, there's a few more things that are not good about it, and the fact that it's in the center line, now the pressure it applies is just straight on. This one, it applies a cant pressure, and it moves the handle into your body more. This one, it just pushes it into you. So now you eliminated that feature that you had with this older design. So that's also gone. And then another problem that I found with this is the thickness. As you can see, the Mojo riser comes up and over on top here, and now you're adding overall thickness to the holster. Whereas you go onto this one, and you'll see that the Mojo riser is even with the holster, so there's no added thickness to this. Basically, you just have, the thickness of the holster itself, and the clip can, flex in like that, and it's a lot thinner profile. And it's pretty significant, because when I measured them out, the difference between the thickness of this and the thickness of that is very significant. And what I want to show you for the thickness is that if you were to take a Glock 21 next to a Glock 19, there is a pretty significance in the thickness. You'll see that the Glock 21 is actually quite a bit thicker than the 19 is. But if you're taking this 19 and you're putting it in this old style holster, and you're taking a Glock 21 putting in that old style holster, the Glock 21 is going to actually be thinner and easier to carry than if you were to put a 19 in this style holster, because of the added thickness. So the difference in thickness is more using this than if you were to just use a larger Glock in that style of holster. So the difference of holster thickness is pretty significant by the way they've designed that. And that may not seem like a ton, but you'll notice it. I mean, even just in how much you can tighten your belt down, I've noticed it that my belt has to be a little looser. So that's another thing that is not really good with this clip design. And one other thing I noticed is that when I was carrying with this holster, that it's loose, kind of wobbly in there, whereas with this one, the holster feels really secure and in place. It doesn't move around a lot. It just kind of sits where it is with one clip. That might be because the clip is a little more center balanced, but what I think the reason is that this is higher off of the holster, and it's centered on the holster, so it takes your pants and it kind of bridges them around the holster. Whereas with this one, the pants come and rest against the holster closer and rest against this tactical fuzz. And the whole purpose of the tactical fuzz, guys, is not for comfort. The whole purpose for the tactical fuzz is this is sticky when it comes to clothing. When you rub this fuzz against clothing, it sticks to it. It's kind of like the seats in high-performance sports cars. Basically, they're coated in this type of material, and when you sit in that seat, it just grabs you and just sticks to you. So this material, this fuzz, is actually a very grippy material, almost like Velcro to clothing, and that's kind of why, and that's the reason it's there. So with more surface area exposed and more surface area touching your pants, this one actually, with this clip and the way it's designed, fits more stable in your pants, and it's going to sit where you want it to a lot easier, or a lot better. So that's you know, one of the other differences with the clip. So other than that, I mean, there's that's kind of as far as the design differences and concealment issues. So you're going to run into concealment issues. This thing's thicker and it's not going to cant the handle into you as good. So that handle's going to stick out a little more. Plus the holster itself is a little thicker. So concealment, this one's not going to be as good. And then balance, it's not going to be as good, and as stability, it's not going to be as good. So there's a lot of things that are going on here that make this design not as good, although it does look awesome. That's the only thing I've ever seen going for it, is it looks awesome. Other than that, the way this just kind of comes up from those holes and comes over makes it, you know, nice and comfortable here because it's smooth and it comes over. This one kind of flares out a little bit. I've actually modified mine by using a Dremel tool on there and then sanding it and polishing it. So you'll see that mine's real shiny and real smooth. And I did that because I just want it to be more comfortable and I want it to look a little nicer. You know, it's got to compete with these new fancy looking Mojo risers. So polish that up real shiny like a mirror finish, and it looks a little nicer. But that's the only positive here, is the looks of it and the added comfort for the way that kind of folds over there. So other than that, if you look at the taper here, you can see how the tip of the sight here is kind of exposed. Shouldn't be a big issue unless you have a sight that has like a fiber optic and it's kind of sharp right there. Then that could dig into your leg. That would be more of an issue. Okay, so after all that's said and done, there's one more negative for this one that I can go over here and show you. And so I've worn these quite a bit just to really get the get a feel for them and figure out, you know, which one I like the best and why. And so I can share that information with you. So this other issue is drawing the pistol. So when you draw this pistol, you punch down on this holster and like this, and that's how your finger rests. And when the holster flies off, when you draw the holster, basically what's going to happen is your finger is going to rest right there where you want it to. So it's perfect. Basically, you grip it, and then it's gonna rest right there where you want it. If you look, you'll see how this clip actually covers the trigger guard. So when you punch down, that's pretty much the only way you can do it. This one here, when you punch down, it's very awkward and actually kind of painful. I mean, your finger goes way up there, and then when this holster is ejected from or you pull the holster out, gun out, then your finger ends up here on the slide, not right there where you want it. The only other way that you could do this when you're drawing is you punch down, and it kind of forces you to have a low grip on the gun when you have your finger below there, but you can put it here. And when you draw out, then you have the risk of your finger going into the trigger guard and pulling the trigger, discharging the firearm, and it's kind of pointed in a bad direction when that would happen. So the drawing is not as good. You're not going to get as clean of a draw, and there are some safety issues if your finger's going to go over top of the trigger guard here, and then comfort issues if it's going to be forced up in this awkward position like that. If you put it over top of that, I mean, you could try to draw like that, but it's just not going to help you get as good of a grip on the gun having your finger propped up on there. So that's another issue there. This one's just natural and you can draw out. I think I've pretty much covered everything there. Your concealment issues, the drawing issues, the thickness issues, the balance issues, basically just all your general design issues. The only positives that I can really see are the design of it. It looks really cool. They come in colors. You can get them different colors. But one more negative I guess I can think of is cost. This setup actually costs more. These Mojo risers, they're real proud of them, and it costs more. Not only does it cost more, but you only get one clip. If you buy this one here, you get 2 clips, and these clips do wear out. I would say at least every year you want to replace that clip because it'll lose a lot of it'll probably lose about half of its spring tension in a year, and you're going to want to replace that because that tension is what holds that grip against you nice and tight, and everything canted into you real nice and tight for concealment. So every year you're going to replace it. If you get this one here, you're going to get 2 clips, so you have one ready to replace it already. This one gives you only 1 clip, and it costs more money. Plus, if you want just the color like this cost me $5 just to get the finish like that. If you want it finished, You can get it with the plain aluminum if you want, but if you want any of the colors that they offer, that's an extra $5. So the cost is more. I think overall, I'm trying to remember how much exactly I paid for each one, but I think this one I paid probably with the colored Mojo riser. I want to say at least $15 to $20 more for this one with the one clip and the Mojo. So cost was more, and everything else is not as good with it with the this type of Mojo riser. So hopefully that kind of gives you some information on it. You know, I own both of them. I could sell either one of them, so I'm not sitting here trying to knock one because I have interest in one of them. You know, I own both of them, so it doesn't really make a difference to me which one I keep. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to remove this Mojo and remove that one and swap them. That way I get the best of both worlds. I get this holster, which has this nice clean look to it, and then I get the Mojo that I like. So I'll just swap them over and then it'll be done. And that'll be the holster I carry, this holster with that Mojo. But just hope that, you know, gives you some information. If you already own this one, I highly recommend you don't even mess with this one unless you want to do what I'm going to do and kind of swap it around, or unless they let you order this holster with that Mojo. That would be perfect, and it should cost you less money, because if you order this setup here with the two clips and everything, it's cheaper than if you ordered this one. So I guess these Mojos are a lot cheaper to make or something, I don't know, but it should be less money. So hopefully you can order this with that Mojo, and I think you'll have the perfect setup. But this I think is a complete fail. I think this riser just is not working for what you'd want it to do, and it's actually counter acting against the way the holster is supposed to work. So yeah, that's basically my review on the two, and basically you kind of look at that and figure out what you want to do. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. If you ended up going and getting this one, I think you'd be happy. I think it's a great holster. They're both great holsters, but I think this one's just better. So that's all I have for you. Okay, so I went ahead and swapped over the Mojo riser onto the Eclipse holster, and you can just see you've got the nice clean Eclipse holster with the older Mojo riser setup that I have polished there. It looks pretty nice. And so that's the holster and the way I'm going to carry from now on. Maybe a few looks at that, see how that looks. So that's the setup, and then this one here is what I'll end up selling, this setup here.